Hello, all you wonderful folks out there who've decided to watch our videos. We totally appreciate it. We have a couple more GenCon videos here that we will hopefully have edited and actually on time before GenCon.
Which right now is just a few days away.
Yes, as we are recording this, the show will be starting in 4 days. This is a Sunday, and we'll be starting on Thursday. So,
Unless you have trade day tickets and it's 3 days away.
Right. For those of you that would do that, we do not. Well, I don't. I'm assuming these two don't.
I do not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Trade day tickets.
It'd be interesting to see what goes on 1 year.
It would be, but I think you've got to. We'll talk to Julia soon. What you got to get to get them. All right. So you know.
Hopefully.
All right. So today, this video, we're going to be covering what we are actually going to be doing at GenCon this year. And we're just going to kind of go down our list of events that we're signed up for, and if there's anything else, like one or two other things that we're particularly looking forward to. There's several events that the three of us are doing together, or at least all attending together. I mean, however you want to phrase that. And then others that each of us have our own independent, wants and desires, and hopes and dreams, etc., etc. So, without further ado. The first thing is going to be Thursday morning, before the show even starts.
Bright and early at 8 a.m.
Yes, bright and early at 8 a.m. Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman are going to be unveiling their newest Dragonlance novel.
Where everyone in attendance to that will be getting a copy of it.
Yes.
Hours before it goes on sale everywhere else.
Yes, and that is obviously built into the ticket price. They're not just doing that out of the kindness of their heart. Understandably, 'cause I'm sure it's a
I believe
hard
that ticket
book.
was $30.
Yeah.
It was my most expensive ticket, but I got a book.
Yeah. And as far to the best of my knowledge, they're going to be in attendance for that, and it does list other people, but from another one of the events we're down for, I don't know if they're all going to be there in person, so I'm not really going to go through who else is supposed to be there. But anyway, yeah, so let's be getting the book. And then at 10 o'clock Thursday will be the opening ceremony and the mad dash to wherever anyone has to get to first.
I thought that was at 9.
No, that's at 10.
10. 9, they've got some kind of...
Opening ceremonies with Nerdy.
Yeah, that's something else.
Who, if you've never heard of him, is a nerd rapper, I do believe.
I believe that is his deal, yes.
I don't listen to a lot of rap music,
It's
but
milieu.
Yeah. I'll let you stick with that.
like I think he's.
I'm not good at French, folks. Sorry. The
He's
best
been
I've got is the exclaim "Sacre bleu."
I took 2 years of Spanish in high school.
Oh, see. So, 10 o'clock the show opens. Like I said, there's usually the mad dash with everyone at the doors saying, don't run, and you can look inside and visibly see people running, so,
Yeah.
They're just trying to be the first ones to get to the booths.
Yes. And we're going to cover that in the other video we're going to film today, towards the very end, so watch for that. But anyway, after that, 2 o'clock on Thursday, we're going to basically a seminar on how to do what we're doing right now, only better. And since I'm assuming we have lots of room for improvement, we're hopefully going to be able to pick up some worthwhile tips on that.
Yeah, I believe we're all going to the produce a TTRPG stream 101.
Yeah.
Well,
Which-
there's two. Those are 2 different things. There's a TTRPG Stream 101, and there's a Produce a TTRPG live stream. Those are 2 separate things.
Yeah, this is the TTPRP.
Thursday at 2 p.m.
Yeah. Then myself and another friend of mine, Chris, don't know if he's going to make it in these videos or not, but I've mentioned him before. He and I are going to be going to do the True Dungeon. That's going to be a little 3-hour excursion as we watch other people LARP and we try to solve puzzles and, play shuffleboard.
Have fun with that.
That's the dungeon crawl that he was referring to a couple videos ago.
I'll be back in Dealer's Hall during that time.
Yeah, and that will be the single most expensive thing I'll be doing all weekend. That will be more than the expensive steak place, which is why I'm only doing it once. We had talked about twice, but that's not going to happen. And then we have the BattleTech boot camp,
which I'll be going to as well.
and that's going to be later in the evening on Thursday. That's essentially how to play BattleTech, or if they ever differentiate, it would be called Classic BattleTech, not Alpha Strike, which we will eventually have videos on that topic.
There is also an Alpha Strike boot camp.
Right.
If you want to go to that one and learn the simpler version.
Yes, Alpha Strike is the more streamlined version, but again, the differences, we'll cover that in another video. And then Friday at 2 is the Weiss and Hickman Dragonlance Celebration, which I'm assuming, based on the description, is going to be them talking about Dragonlance over the last 3.5, 4 decades.
I'm kind of hoping they go into how it was started.
Well, that's playing the modules and writing it down, essentially. That's how the first book in the first trilogy was written.
It's just their campaign.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah,
Genius.
if any of you out there have never read the novels, the first
Wait.
2 trilogies are fantastic. I have what are called the annotated versions, so they have all kinds of notes along the sides. Of course, the first note in both of the books is, if you've never read this book, don't read the notes, but it's kind of hard not to.
So you could say the first book was the first, like, actual play.
Yeah, it's the first. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but yeah, and so in that version, it kind of notes that after the first book, they made a decision that they had to go off the rails from the campaign, because it wasn't making for a good novel. So
If you don't mind jumping back a few hours,
yeah, go ahead.
Friday at 11, I'm signed up for a content creation workshop. Hopefully it helps with the channel. That was my thinking. Because I do believe the description is coming up with content for streaming services and such.
Yeah,
I'm going to that too.
yeah, and Brad, I believe you're doing looks like probably a couple others in the interim there.
Yeah, so there's the regular TTRPG stream, and then there's the produce a TTRPG live stream. I'm going to both of those. And then there's a Freelancing 101, which is a writer workshop for advanced TTRPG topics, and how to freelance and get your stuff out there and have someone pay you for your work. And then there's the content creation workshop, and then social media basics for writers right after that. Or I don't know if it's right after that on the daily schedule, but on my notes here.
Yeah. And let's see. I was signed up for a couple of events that were canceled, which that happens. 2 of those had to do with WizKids and their future products, primarily like the D&D miniatures, the Pathfinder miniatures. The other had to do with WizKids and their ongoing relationship. I know.
I'm missing the critical role part.
I know. And their ongoing relationship with Wizards of the Coast for D&D, with Paizo for Pathfinder, with Critical Role folks. Basically, since WizKids makes miniatures for all of those, they've got a very complicated relationship, I'm sure, with several parties on the D&D front, and D&D RPG front, is what I should say, because Pathfinder goes. And this is pure speculation. The gentleman who was like I think community outreach guy, I don't know what his official title was, but he has moved on from WizKids, and I'm assuming that's why those 2 have been kind of folded into another event that I believe you're signed up for, I think, also.
Preview and fandom appreciation event?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm signed up for that.
Yeah, so that it all kind of got folded into just one single WizKids event that's listed as the fan appreciation event, but it's also like the description's been rewritten, so it's also going to cover what's coming up. Then I have we have the BattleTech Grinder
At 6 p.m. on
Friday.
Friday.
And
That's pretty much it's scheduled for 2 hours. You sit down and you start with 1 mech from BattleTech, and when that gets destroyed, you go up a rank.
yeah, theoretically your mech, the new mech you get is better, which generally means it's a larger tonnage with more weapons and armor.
And it's just simply like have fun.
Yeah, it's just seeing how many things you can kill.
I think there's like cards you get for it that you get something if you go so far into it.
Yeah,
Like one year, when we went before and you had a late night event, I sat there and watched them because I wasn't part of the event, and there were guys there with like 3 or 4 of the marker cards,
yeah,
and they were talking about like they were trying to get as many as they could done, and kind of interesting talking to them.
yeah.
I'm not attending any of the BattleTech stuff just because I don't have the history with it that they do. I do intend to play it at some point.
You know what you probably can do if they bring them this year is the BattleTech pods.
Ooh, we've talked about doing that every year since I started going, and we have yet to do it.
Well, no, Chris and I have done it.
Like I said, we've talked about going every year since I started going.
Incredibly brief history, if I can, here, folks.
Uh,
Back in the '90s, while BattleTech was still made by FASA, they signed a deal with another company, and they actually built these things in a few shopping malls. It was meant to be like a VR kind of deal, but it's really just an arcade game essentially. But for the BattleTech, it's a pod that the inside is modeled after the cockpit of a battle mech with all kinds of buttons and dials that don't do anything, and then like the screens for the game, the throttle, the controls that actually do something. And some people, once that company went out of business, bought up the pods, and they've updated the software. I believe it's the software that's used in MechWarrior 4. At least that was the last I saw. They might have since upgraded to MechWarrior 5, which was more recently released, but I don't know because it requires a lot of modding to make it work. So, but anyway, you bring some tickets and you get like you and however many other people, you're all fighting against each other for like 10 minutes, and whoever gets the most kills, you get a little printout where it kind of describes the battle for your player, and you get to pick your battle mechs before you go in. It's pretty cool, if you like BattleTech at all. So, or if you're at all interested in it. So if you guys ever make it to GenCon, which I'm assuming some of you are going to because you're watching these videos, I don't know if they're going to have them this year because the pandemic is still a thing, and being in a tight enclosed space,
I don't think they had them last year.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's why, because everyone's going to want them to like drown them in Lysol before the next person gets in.
Yeah.
So it's iffy if they'll be there this year. I don't know for sure, but they will hopefully be back at some point. But they are awesome if you like BattleTech or just like running around the giant robot shooting things. Other giant robots typically.
That second part's always fun.
Yes, it is. So hopefully that was brief.
You've never done anything brief, Bob.
I know, but that was very short.
For you, that was
For Bobby, that was really brief.
So then will be one of the major highlights of the show on Saturday is the costume
I'm
contest.
signed up for a few things before that, actually.
Oh, okay. I'll
So-
a second.
Okay,
initially we had thought we would do this,
one at a time.
Yeah.
Instead of going through the timeline.
but we've melded them together now,
Yes.
so that's where we're at.
So we're just kind of all over the place now.
If you've watched any of our other videos, you know we did
This
this.
should not be a surprise. So yes, like I said, the costume contest, always a big draw, always sells out, and the tickets are free, so I mean sell out, but there's a limited number of seats.
Yep.
And if you have a ticket, you're getting a seat before anyone else does. However, there is a cutoff, and if there are still empty seats, then people can take them. I believe is how it works. But there's hardly ever any empty seats, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
We've always gotten there early enough that it's like, where do we want to sit this time?
Yeah. So it's always worth, or it has always been worth going to me. The costumes for the contest in particular, usually about half of them are like top notch. And I don't want to demean the other half because they're doing more than I'm doing getting up on stage. Some of them,
And putting their costumes together,
I think
even if it's not
some
top
of them-
notch.
yeah, well,
The costume's meant to be a joke, and they get up on stage to have fun.
yeah, I think some of them are definitely either doing that or totally phoning it in. That's their call. But the people that actually put effort into it, like, even if it doesn't work, you can tell they definitely put effort into it. When it does work, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So it's a definite highlight.
The ones I have that Bobby has not mentioned here, on Saturday at 10 a.m., not as quite bright and early as Thursday, I'm going to one called YTSR Fail. They are the original license holders for D&D. I figure since I do like D&D, I would like to know what happened to the company that originally made it.
When is that?
Saturday at 10 a.m. It's still listed as not sold out for me.
I'm trying to figure out why I didn't sign up for that.
Fogo.
No.
No, because he's got to be there for that too.
Then
What kind of Fogo?
12.
at 11, same room, so I don't have to worry about time to get from one to the other. There's 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons creation of a masterpiece.
Yeah. Like,
We had those down. There's a reason we took them off.
I think you had a conflict.
I don't see one here in my schedule, so I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Maybe I had one and
but
I took out.
3rd
So,
edition,
I'm also learning something from this.
massive amount of content produced for it, I do believe.
Yeah, that's
Like, I think there's third parties still producing books for it.
well, so Pathfinder itself is essentially like 3rd edition had 3rd and then 3.5 was a slight evolution of it. Pathfinder, a lot of people call it 3.75 because it's a further refinement of 3.5. I don't know about 2nd edition Pathfinder because I've never played it, but 1st edition Pathfinder was definitely an evolution, and there are other games that are somewhat modeled after 3rd edition. Like, people are still basically producing content for it. So yeah, it was a big deal.
Then at what time does this say? Saturday at 2 p.m. I am going to Hickman's Skyrayers of Abarax 5e RPG. Sorry if I screwed up the name. But it's
Don't worry, I'll tell Jonathan Hickman.
Tracy and Laura Hickman.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry, folks, I'm thinking X-Men comic writer Jonathan Hickman.
But
Totally
it's,
different guy, I assume. Maybe. Don't know.
It's a new
Never seen them together.
5th edition D&D campaign they've created. Supposed to be app assisted. Months ago I saw it on Kickstarter. Looked interesting. Unfortunately, at the time, I did not have the money to back it. So, I am hoping, by going, I get a little bit more insight into it.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can find it for sale at GenCon.
Maybe. Is it hell?
I don't know about that.
If it's not, little pro tip on anything you back on Kickstarter. If you do miss the actual campaign, keep an eye out. A lot of people, once things are really rolling, they'll open it up for just legit pre-orders. Or if you email them, they can get you in on the pledge manager. So,
But yeah, it looked interesting. I wouldn't mind finding out a little bit more about it. It is the Hickman's first campaign world setting for D&D since Dragonlance. So,
Abarax, huh?
yep. And it seemed interesting, so I figured, why not go take a look? I had an open spot.
Absolutely. What else you got?
well, I believe we're all signed up for the burlesque show, unless I'm mistaken.
Cosplay burlesque.
Yes.
Yes, along with my girlfriend who's not present here for the video.
Yes. I was talked into it, I should say.
Chad, I know people say what I'm about to say whenever they don't mean it, but I genuinely mean this. It is tasteful, okay?
You don't have to do it.
I spent money on the ticket, I'm going.
I'm sure you can scalp it out front.
It is.
Probably not.
It is my girlfriend and I went once a couple years ago.
That was the late night event. I watched Battletech Grinder.
Yeah. So it is tasteful. Obviously, it is an adult show, but it is tasteful. It is actually artistic. The costumes are incredibly well done. That's actually why I try to convince Chad to go along, because I think you'd actually appreciate that.
And
because it's absolutely not a strip tease or anything like that. It happens to involve partial nudity. Okay,
that was my biggest concern there, because don't want to be in a crowd of strangers watching that.
So I've got one other thing before that. There is how to go viral, which hopefully will help us get these videos to you all. Mow better.
So I think that's everything we're signed up for. I think we all left Sunday completely open, didn't we?
I didn't
Yeah.
schedule anything Sunday.
So yeah,
Sunday I left open because that's going to be like
wander the
if-
dealer hall.
wander
find out
dealer
what it
hall,
is.
see if there's
Yeah.
anything
Discounted? That
discounted.
they don't want to take home with
See
them?
if I have
Yeah.
money left over to buy anything that I was hee-hawing on.
Yes,
Because
we're
if by
gonna-
that time it's sold, I didn't really want it.
Yes, we're going to be covering both those topics in the other video. So I believe that's it. So thank you folks for watching. Keep a lookout for our one other GenCon tips video. It will for sure be going up, so there's a slim chance you'll see that one and not this one.
Did you put it out last night?
Hmm?
Did you put it out last night?
No, that won't be filmed. Still. Because I thought a few other things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. and another reason I'll tell you in a minute. So, anyway, keep an eye out for those. We don't have videos. I'm going to attempt to get them edited and some up during GenCon. That's going to be a whole new deal because I'm going to be using a different computer to attempt to do that. So, maybe yes, maybe no. But we will for sure have videos after GenCon. Showing around, covering some of the stuff we bought, any particular booths we thought were interesting, the sites, all kinds of stuff. Probably several videos on the topic. So keep an eye out on the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Take care, folks.